Biblical Shakers, we are leaving the book of Psalms this week and we'll head to the Old Testament book of Ezra. This book is not referred to very frequently, but we will learn and read about the importance of it. There will be an introduction to the book on Monday, followed by a chapter read for each day, Tuesday through Friday, which include chapters 1 through 4. Each day there will be a posted daily devotion to go along with the reading. And if you haven't yet, please check out my blog for a little history of the Biblical Shakers at biblicalshakers.blogspot.com. Let's get started and grow in the knowledge of the Jewish people. Ezra was a priest, a scribe, and a great leader. His name means help, and his whole life was dedicated to serving God and God's people. He centers the narrative of the book of Ezra around God and his promise that the Jews would return to their land, as written by Jeremiah. This message formed the core of Ezra's life. He led a group of Jews from Persia back to Jerusalem, where they would begin to rebuild the temple. There was suffering with going back and changes that had to be dealt with. However, Ezra was a man of God and a true hero who was a model for Israel. Cyrus was the king of Persia and treated the inhabitants with mercy. He was used by God to return the Jews to their homeland. This proclamation went to the original 12 tribes, but only Judah and Benjamin responded and returned to rebuild God's temple. Without the temple, the Jews did not consider themselves reestablished as a nation. The journey back was difficult, dangerous, and expensive, lasting 4 months. Chapter 1 and 2 this week describe what they returned with and the list of the exiles who returned. God gave them an opportunity for a new beginning. Chapter 3 describes the building of the altar as one of their first official acts under the direction of Zerubbabel. It symbolized God's presence and protection and demonstrated their purpose as a nation and their commitment to serve God alone. They realized the importance of obeying God from their heart and not merely out of habit. The old temple was far more elaborate and ornate and was surrounded by many buildings and a vast courtyard. The people wept for the old, beautiful temple, for the new one was surrounded by ruins. There was a time of joy and thanksgiving, yet at the same time a feeling of sadness of their shortcomings. Believers can expect opposition when they do God's work. Unbelievers and evil spiritual forces are always working against God and his people. People wanted to help, but infiltrated and disrupted the project, trying to keep Jerusalem from becoming a strong nation once again. You will read about this in chapter 4. As we read Ezra, remember him as a humble, obedient man of God. Commit yourself to serving God as he did. Please check in next week. We will continue with the reading in the book of Ezra. And remember, Biblical Shakers makes reading the Bible way more enjoyable for you. I pray the Lord will put a hunger on your heart.